Hey guys, welcome back to the Alerted Podcast, a brand new episode. In this show, we talk basically all about movies, filmmaking, pixies, elves, dark forests, anything really that suits our fancy, really. Today, guys, we have a really cool episode, as I always say, and a really cool guest. But before that, I actually want to say that we actually sponsored this episode, sponsored by Artlist. If you want to check them out, definitely check them out in the description and our video on Artlist for some really cool stuff. But without further ado, let me introduce my guest for this episode, Mr. Aidin Robbins. How are you doing, sir?
What's up? I'm good. I'm great. How are you?
I am doing really well. I'm really excited to be talking to you because obviously I watch your stuff. And I'm sure most of my audience watching now, knows about your stuff and watches your videos.
No way.
Yeah, so something I like to ask, just because I'm interested in this type of stuff, is where exactly you're tuning in from. So I know you're in the USA, but what exact state are you in and where are you from right now?
I'm in South Carolina right now.
So you've always been in South Carolina?
Down kind of bottom part of the East Coast.
Oh, I see. So have you always been in South Carolina, or is it like you move around, or if you grew up
Pretty much always there.
Always there. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm tuning in from Cape Town, South Africa, so I'm also right at the bottom. Although I think I'm literally at the bottom of the world. I think you go further, it's only Antarctica back there, down at the bottom.
I got you.
Yeah, so basically, guys, how this episode is going to work is I've got a couple questions here to ask Aidin, just talk about, have a nice conversation. And then obviously towards the end, which I'm sure you guys are looking forward to, is the quiz, which I'm sure Aidin is going to smash out of this world with his movie trivia knowledge.
Ooh.
There's some tough competition when it comes to the quiz. Like, some tough I'm glad I'm not taking part in that. I just set the questions. If I were to, I'd be at the bottom. Yeah.
I'm ready to fail.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Okay, so one question that I wanted to ask, something a bit different, is what movie that came out in the last 5 or 10 years even inspires you just as one that came out in the last 50? So I see a lot of, especially those I'm sure if you watch those round table videos with the actors and stuff like that, and the directors, and whenever they ask what movies inspire you, they're always talking about movies that are like really, really old. And I've always wondered what movie that came out recently, or like 5 or 10 years, would that inspires you to create videos and make films and stuff.
Ooh. That's tough.
We're all about the tough questions here. So we do.
I think some people who watch my channel probably know a recent movie that's inspired me a lot is The Martian.
The Martian. Oh, yes.
Just everything about that movie was just like the way they shot it was very interesting. Editing was interesting, and they did a lot of like not necessarily conventional things with the visuals, especially. So that's kind of impacted the way that I approach videos. But I don't know. There's not really like one movie that's like impacted me a ton. It's more like little things from different ones. Like, recently I watched The Witch, and like the way that I
I'm too scared for those movies.
the way that I shoot and color grade that's kind of made me think about those aspects. But yeah, I'd say The Martian most of all.
But I like what you said about the it's not just like there's one movie where you just that's everything. It's more like there are small things that especially certain directors, they do small things. Like I'm sure you picked up stuff like that Ridley Scott did in The Martian, and there are like other things that you pick up and you start to try and incorporate that in your own videos and stuff like that. Like
For sure.
What year did The Martian come out? I think it was 14?
Maybe like 2016. I don't know.
I don't even know.
I'm not sure. 2014 it could be.
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
Maybe, yeah. And The Witch, I think
The Witch was like last year.
Yeah, I'm too scared.
It's very recent
for those type of movies. Although I did force myself to watch A Quiet Place recently, which is also sort of a horror.
I saw that.
Have you seen that one?
It's a good one, yeah.
What did you think about the?
What did you think of it?
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask you that, but okay. Well, I really thought that I really like sound design a lot, and I think that the emphasis on sound design in that movie was really what made it so fresh and original. Because a lot of people say it was original, but if you notice, like it still uses the typical jump scares and the cliches, but I think the twist came with the sound design, the way they. I don't know if I'm making sense. You understand what I'm saying? The sound design sort of twisted it a bit, and because other films might not rely so much on that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, sound is such an important part of the story there.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they'd have to put a lot of emphasis on that to tell the story. But I saw that recently. I had very low expectations. Just because, like, horror movies these days, I generally don't expect to be very good.
Yeah.
And, like, I just started watching The Office before I saw that.
Oh.
So,
yeah,
I was concerned. I was concerned that him being Jim from The Office would prevent it from being scary.
Yeah.
But it didn't. It was good.
Yeah, I think he surprised a lot of people with that, because he has, like, directing, like, serious acting chops, you know, compared to just the typical comedy stuff. That's also a problem that they run into, where they like get attached to a certain role and then they can't break free of it. And this happens to franchises a lot. Speaking of movies, what actually is up on the spot? What's like the last movie you saw in the theater as of recording this now?
Last movie I saw in theaters is Hereditary.
Oh, how
I think it's done by the same studio that did The Witch. It's unsettling for sure, but it was good. I
know there's
especially the filming and editing style for me was very unique and interesting, but mostly just scary. Yeah.
I know there's a lot of mixed opinions on that one also, because as there is with everything. But but did you find it a lot? I hear a lot of people saying about that one is that it's how different is it though compared to other films, horror films especially?
It's experimental for sure, especially towards the end. Like, you just have to watch it, honestly.
Again, I might be too scared to watch
it. It's a ride.
I think
it's quite a ride.
The last one I saw, which I'm pretty late to the party on this one, but I saw Deadpool last.
All right.
And I think I'm in the minority of not loving it as much as everyone else did. Because it seems to me
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you didn't see that one? Did you watch the first one?
Nah. No.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
Neither of them.
Yeah, I didn't find it as good as the first one, and something just didn't click with me with that one. But I don't know. We'll probably get hate for that in the comments, but we'll see. That's something we have to deal with a lot. Something I know you can relate to, especially being a YouTuber, is just the divisiveness in the comment section.
Yeah.
People disagree.
It's a bad environment.
It's hectic, man. Okay, so moving on to another question that I have is name one, or if you're feeling a bit spicy, a few things that YouTubers do that you don't really understand or you find illogical. You just don't think that it doesn't make sense to you.
Okay, one that's not very big, but that definitely sticks out to me, and like I'm kind of guilty of doing it too, is when YouTubers say, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. That's fine, but saying it really helps out.
Oh.
Because it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, you say it in such a way that it seems like you make money off of the likes, and you just don't. It helps the engagement, and it helps your video get searched more, but it doesn't do that much.
I know a lot of people who don't do videos think that everything counts for like money or something. Like, they think if you get likes, if you get views, if you get subscribers, all that stuff counts. But, yeah, is there anything else besides the likes or something like that they do?
Let me think. That's the one that sticks out to me, because I hear it in like every video, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
You got to get people to share your videos, not like that.
That's the big one, yeah. Especially on like all social media.
The shares?
Yeah.
Shares will have such an impact on growth.
Speaking of shares, share this video, guys, with everyone you know, so we can get it
exactly into it.
Well, while you're thinking about it, I can tell you one thing that I find, especially recently, is it's less about what YouTube is doing, it's more about what's popular. Because I've noticed, especially recently, there's a few people that I started watching, and the only reason I realized I started watching them is because the algorithm's pushing it towards me. Because I'm seeing it in the suggestions. And the reason I know it's the algorithm is because I'll start watching them 1 week and like 3 weeks later they'll have increased by like 50,000 subscribers or something insane. So I know that they've been pushed around a lot. And a lot of it, like, especially this happens to some filmmaking channels, and then I get a lot of requests in the comment section, people asking me, how do I do this effect? Where it's not really an effect, it's more of their style. And then I get a bit, split, because I wonder why people want to rather focus all their energy at recreating something instead of creating their own thing. You know what I'm trying to say? It happens a lot when it comes to the whole one that recently happened is someone asked me how to create a sliding letterbox effect. And I mean, a sliding letterbox effect, like that's like also quite popular now. People just slide into, cinematic or something like that. And that's also like, it's something that's definitely plausible to add in your videos, but it's also like, it's almost telling people that if you want to have a cool looking video, you need that, which I don't really. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
A lot of people definitely choose the videos that they make for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I feel like it's good to use to pay attention to like what's popular and what's trendy, and to pay attention to your comments to see what your audience is interested in. But at the end of the day, if you're only making something for pretty much any reason that's not because that's what you want to make, then people can see that in the video.
Definitely.
And I think you being engaged with what you're doing is the most important thing to making something good and making something successful, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone learns from recreating things. If you didn't, because that's that fine line with inspiration, I think. Because you can go too far and end up copying someone, or you can use just enough to do what they're doing, but in your own, in your own way, which I think is very difficult to do sometimes. So a lot of people get, like, they shake on that bridge and they fall. So yeah, that's something that they need to, I mean, I'm guilty of this sometimes. Sometimes I don't realize I'm doing something that's exactly the same as someone else is doing. And I have to pull myself back and be like, wait, rather think about it and try and go in another direction. That's what I'm saying there.
Yeah.
So if you manage to think of something else.
Ooh. I think people, what was I going to say? I don't even know where I was going with that.
Okay. Well, we could move on.
It's tough. There's so much stuff I could say, but it sounds too critical.
I be free.
I don't know. I want to say fine.
It's fine. It's 100%.
Like large YouTubers, I want to say people branch out too much from what you can tell they're just trying to do more things and grow a larger audience and doing it just for that reason.
Oh.
Maybe when someone, I don't know, the cliche is like once you find success as a YouTuber, everyone writes a book.
Oh yes,
you write an autobiography, but you're 21 years old.
Yeah, I also have a bit
it's
of
that kind of thing.
It's
is this what you're really interested in, or do you just know it'll sell?
Yes, I see that. Yeah, a lot of I think that they rope children into it a lot, because a lot of these gaming YouTubers,
for sure,
they literally build the entire channel full of millions of children watching them play games, and then they write a book.
Yeah.
About them playing games. I mean, sometimes they take it up they write a graphic novel or something like that, but otherwise it's almost like you're saying, I know everything. I've gotten success. Here's my book. Buy it, read it. Which is not always the case, but sometimes.
That's a good time to mention. If you want to buy my book,
link in the description. Yeah, I actually going to write the book in this next 5 minutes. I'm going to sell it also. So link in the description.
All right.
We'll do a joint sale maybe.
I'll read it.
Yeah.
There's a pre-order.
Something that we were talking about before we started was the difference between our channels. Because if you said, mentioned that if you look at my channel, it's more sort of narrative filmmaking, short films and tutorials based on movies and TV shows and stuff like that. Where if you look at your channel, it's more the other side. Would you classify your channel as non-fiction, sort of? That's too a broad term, I think, but maybe something like that.
I think the style that's kind of replicating is like less narrative, more like travel video type things.
Yeah.
If you think of like, I think the best example that people like understand is that you can break like filmmaking channels. I mean, each one's unique, obviously, but you can kind of separate it right now into you have kind of more like Film Riot type channels, and then you have some that are more like Peter McKinnon type channels.
That seems to be the divide.
That's where I would put that.
So you'd be more on the Peter McKinnon side.
I'd be more on the Peter McKinnon side for sure.
Yeah, that's one channel that popped up definitely very. Who just popped up suddenly.
He's
and suddenly
blown up.
Started just influencing every single person making a video, and people buying cameras and stuff. Well, actually, that's actually a good topic to talk about. What is your opinion on buying cameras and gear? And because some people go definitely very extreme, saying that you shouldn't buy gear at all, and some people go over and they say you should buy gear because you can't make videos otherwise. Like, where do you fall in that type of argument?
I think the big debate is like, does your gear matter? And I think it does, but it's not. I feel like it's not good when people approach it in such a way that they imply that there's a certain piece of gear that's right for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, this camera is objectively the best camera for filmmaking. I think your gear is important. Like, if you make parkour videos, like, you don't necessarily want to be using like a cinema camera.
Yeah.
You should probably try and have something like smaller, more like an action camera.
Yeah.
But if you're doing like narrative films, then that wouldn't make sense, and you should go with, you know, something like a cinema camera.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're doing like more the style that I'm into, where it's like kind of like vlogging, like cinematic type videos, then neither of those makes sense, and you need something kind of in between, like an SLR or a mirrorless camera. So it definitely matters, but it's like an individual thing. Yeah,
I feel sort of the same, because people, it's not like you can definitely say that you don't need expensive gear, or you don't need because like especially with cell phones nowadays, you have cameras and stuff like that. You don't need to buy something in order to create something, but buying something
for sure
definitely helps. Like if you buy a camera or something, you're definitely going to up the quality. But if you're just starting out, you just want to make videos, and you just like you're really new to the whole thing, then I would say stick with what you have first, like your phone or something like that.
For sure.
And use that until you can build some momentum, understand cameras more, something like that, and then maybe branch off to that, which I think is
for sure
sort of the same, like the balanced approach, in order to other people saying where you should stay with your potato camera for your entire life. Don't
potato
change.
Camera.
Yeah, it's like crazy. Okay, so some small questions that I had just to ask, like these are just small things. I've heard you say something interesting before that I wanted to ask you about. It was, I don't know, I came on late to one of your live Q&As a while ago, and I heard you say something that struck me deep to my core, because you said, someone said, what TV shows do you like? And you said, I don't watch TV shows.
I really don't. Like,
how do you, okay, I have one question. How do you survive without TV shows?
That's a good question.
Definitely. Go on.
Okay, I do watch TV shows, just not that often.
Look, I know you said you're watching The Office or something like that, but
I am watching The Office. That's the only show I'm watching right now.
So
I'm steadily making my way through that.
So there's a lot about these Netflix shows, those binge ones where they come out like 13 episodes, you just binge it, something like that. Have you ever watched one of those, like Stranger Things, the Marvel ones, Daredevil, stuff like that?
Nah,
not really. You haven't.
I just don't. I'm like, yo, when do I have like adequate amount of time to do, like I don't know, maybe it's a character flaw, but I just like I don't want to watch the same thing for an hour. I just don't.
I see. No, I can respect that.
I don't want to chill here for an hour or more and just do this.
I see. Yeah.
I don't know. I could watch The Office for like a week. So I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and I just need to watch more shows. But I don't know. Sometimes I'm interested. Yeah. Like Stranger Things, I was definitely interested in and like considered watching it, but I just didn't get around to it.
But besides The Office, has there ever been another show that you've watched? Like,
not too many. I mean, I've kind of watched less and less recently. What did I watch? I watched some Netflix shows. I watched Sherlock, which, and people have varying opinions about that. That's an interesting show.
I haven't heard of it.
What's that?
I haven't heard of it actually.
It was. I don't think it's on anymore. I think it was only on Netflix.
Oh.
But no, it was BBC, and it was the one with Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman.
Oh, Sherlock. Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, I've seen.
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
So I watched that, all like 5 episodes of that. But what else? I just don't.
Have you seen?
I don't know. Clearly, what I've seen wasn't that memorable.
I'm guessing you haven't seen Suits.
I have not.
Okay, it's like my favorite. So I try to recommend that to
sorry.
everyone because it's like I don't know. I just love it. Okay, so since you're not much of a TV show guy, we can move on to maybe a movie related question because I know you watch movies.
All right. I do.
This one is interesting. I like to stir up stuff when I talk to guests. So, a movie you think is highly overrated?
Overrated?
Any movie.
That's interesting. I've got to think about this. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a really big movie like Infinity War. I just don't watch that many.
What you don't think Infinity War is overrated, do you? Or you just
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see it. Oh,
I don't know. From what I've heard, it's
interesting.
From what I've heard, it's a good one. But
I think everyone will say every Marvel movie is a good one nowadays. So there's not much to take that with a pinch of salt. I think with Marvel movies,
don't watch that many.
With Marvel movies, it's if it's not your thing, the next 50 that comes out is not going to be your thing still. That's how I think it is.
For sure.
Because if you didn't enjoy the past 20 or like whatever, how many they've made, the next 20 they're going to make for the next 25 years or something is not going to be anyone's thing really because they have a specific formula, I think, that they just keep reusing over and over. Do you think something like that exists?
I mean, people like it, so it works.
If it makes money. Like another one that came out recently.
If it makes money, it makes money.
Yeah, it's like people forget sometimes that, especially when they get wrapped up in fandoms and like, you know, this whole like fanboying about comic book movies, they forget that at the end of the day, no matter how much they say it's because they want to be, I don't know, like they want to incorporate more races, they want to incorporate more religions, they want to incorporate more characters and stuff like that. It's all about money at the end of the day. Like that topic might be, well, this is my opinion on it. That topic that they're trying to sell just could be making money at that point. People are talking about that, watching movies like that could be making money at that time. So it's quite a pessimistic outlook to say that all the movies are just made for money. They want to take your money. Like something like Jurassic World. Have you watched that one? I didn't see that one yet. The new Jurassic World.
The new one.
Yeah.
I've seen Jurassic World, but not the one that recently came out.
Yeah. Again, money making. Because it's a blockbuster. It's going to make a lot of money, that movie.
It's a sequel to a reboot of a sequel.
Yeah.
I mean...
It's Inception. Sequel Inception.
For sure.
It's because that's another problem they have with Hollywood, like the reboots and the sequels coming out. And nowadays, like they're turning movies into TV shows and stuff like that. So that's another whole topic that, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Overrated movie.
Oh yeah, go back to overrated movie.
I don't know. It's kind of weird for me because it's like it's a movie I like a lot. I know there's like a lot of people really don't like it, but I feel like in like the filmmaking community at least, or from people that I've talked to, there's a lot of people that think it's like an amazing movie. I just don't.
Well, now I'm really
interested.
Like it.
It's Interstellar. Have you seen it?
Oh, Interstellar. Yeah.
It's the Christopher Nolan.
Personally, I don't like it.
What'd you think? I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was like a well-made movie. I didn't think in terms of like the storyline and like the execution of it. I didn't think it was as profound as people thought it was.
It definitely drags.
I don't know, it was like a fun movie for me to watch, but I didn't think it was a good movie, if that makes sense.
So you like it, but you admit that it's not perfect and it's not even good.
I didn't think it was like a work of art.
Oh, I see.
I just thought it was like it was entertaining.
Yeah,
But it's like entertaining, not inspiring.
I think with me, now that you mentioned Christopher Nolan, his latest one, Dunkirk, that I found to be really, really overrated, like ridiculously overrated for me.
Overrated.
Yeah. Have you seen Dunkirk?
I actually have not seen it. No.
Oh, okay. Because that one I found really, maybe I fell into the hype train because people were talking about it a lot and saying that it's amazing. The suspense is like incredible. And when I went into the theater,
I definitely noticed the hype.
Yeah. Like especially among the filmmaking community. And I especially went out and I bought an IMAX ticket to watch it. And I was sitting there and I kept waiting, like 2 hours in, I was still waiting for it to start. So I didn't really understand that whole aspect.
It's just underwhelming.
Yeah. It could have been something to do with the hype. But I really didn't feel suspense at any point in time in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. Okay. So, I was going to ask you this question about TV shows, but I think I'd rather skip that one and move on to something else.
I can try if you want.
Well, it's about currently airing TV
shot.
shows, so... and this other one, you can see I like TV shows. There's a lot of TV show questions. Okay, here's this one. This one you can relate to. A part of a tutorial, part of making a tutorial that you like the least. Obviously, as creators, we always love the videos we make, but the process of making a tutorial especially, what part of it do you think you like the least?
I think part of editing I definitely don't like. There's like a lot of editing that I do enjoy when it's creative and it like you can feel that it's like adding something to the video, but just like cutting clips and like rearranging them, like watching through like your 40 minutes of footage and like hearing the same line 10 times and then cutting out the good one.
Yeah, definitely becomes tedious
gets old
after a while.
For sure.
Yeah,
and then there's just the boring like in between parts of like converting all your footage so you can edit it, and like the export upload process.
Yeah, that
can be kind of a drag.
The export process is probably the worst part, one of the worst parts, where you have to wait for it to just... Then you have to wait for it to upload to YouTube, and if your internet's like mine, it takes forever, and then I have to leave it overnight. Then you wake up and it's, oh yeah, it's done.
It's rough.
Yeah. I think I sort of agree with that. Sometimes the editing can be really tedious. When it's more like these, especially when it comes to films. I know you made a recently, or not sort of recently, your film.
Recently enough.
Yeah. Your film, what was it called again?
You're talking about Eclipse,
yes,
right?
Yes, Eclipse, yes.
That one?
That one.
Okay, it was like last summer.
Okay, so it wasn't sort of...
That was an interesting project.
What did you...
For sure.
What did you learn from that project? Because I know, especially when I make films, I always learn something new when I make a film.
Yeah. For me, it was mostly that like the process of making like a narrative project just isn't necessarily like my thing.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed it for sure, but I hadn't done it in so long, and I was like expecting it to be like as fun as it was when I stopped. And then it kind of just reminded me like how many little like bits there are to do.
Yeah, it's different.
Instead of just like taking my camera and going and like shooting something and posting it the next day.
Yeah, I think when it comes to planning a short film, especially like that, there's a lot of aspects. Did you have a problem with organizing, with basically getting everyone in the same spot at the same time? That was always a big thing for me.
Oh, for sure.
Because if you manage to, it's like a Rubik's Cube that's fighting back. Because you plan for this person to come everyone's ready, then someone can't come, and then they can't come the next weekend. And it's like, especially like, I'm sure you were filming with probably your friends, right?
Yeah. And still, it was only like 5 people.
Yeah.
That had to be there at the same time, and it was still
like hectic.
Still tough to organize.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I've probably shot the maximum amount I've shot with probably like 3 people, and even then, it's like people have like you'd think they have no lives or something, and suddenly that weekend busy. People have got plans, and you're messing up their plans.
For sure.
Yeah, and then you have to work around that, which is definitely a problem. How did you find the whole process of editing with that? Because I know you said like when it comes to editing tutorials, it can get a bit tedious. Whereas that, would you think that's more of a creative part of making a film, where you're editing that and it's less tedious?
It's kind of both. I think it's normally when I edit a video, this is like kind of a bad thing, I guess, but I usually know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Which isn't good. I feel like I'm not like experimenting enough or whatever. But like I know, like this is what I want the video to look like, and these are the steps that I need to go through to get it to be pretty much like that. And with like a short film like that, where like visual effects is a part of the equation at all, and where the color grading has to not only like look good but really, be an important part of the story there, because that required a lot of editing, since like half of it is day for night.
Yeah.
And obviously it's like sky replacements on most of the clips, so it was definitely a process, but it was very satisfying to figure out what to do and to see it all come together.
When it all comes together, yeah. And also there's another problem where you imagine things in your head one way, and then when you're actually there filming it, suddenly it's just completely different.
For sure.
Yeah. Or like
every time.
Maybe the VFX is not turning out the way you thought it was. For me, that's a lot of that's why I like to, when I make short films, I sort of stay away from VFX. Like a hectic VFX, I mean.
Yeah.
And I don't,
you never know.
Yeah. Something like, for example, I noticed recently in Film Riot's new video. Have you seen the new short film? It just came out, Ballistic.
I have not.
Okay, well, that one.
I don't think so.
It's their most recent project. They've been hyping it up for like a few months. In there, they've also, I noticed in those longer projects, they steer away from extreme VFX and it's more subtle, which is, I find, like, I also like to do that, because when it comes to editing afterwards, it either works or it doesn't work. And when you have to try and Frankenstein your footage to make it work, it sort of ends up ruining the final product, if you know what I'm saying.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we've asked enough questions. Now it's time to ask the real questions. I'm sure Aidin's been really looking forward to this part of it, because I'm sure everyone does look forward to this part. It's time for the alerted quiz. Okay, so to basically brief you on this quiz, this fantastic, probably not really good quiz, there are no real strict rules, although there are 60 seconds, and you have to answer as many questions of the 15 questions that I'm going to ask. So you don't have to get through, you have to try and basically get through all of them. I don't think anyone has before gotten through basically all 15, although get through as many as you can. They come from all sorts of categories, basically all tied to movies. There's some directors, actors, plot, stuff like that. One of the tips I would give you is that if you don't know the answer to the question, I would say rather just say pass. If you want to take a couple seconds to think about it, that's okay. But I would rather just say pass and move on and try and get through the next questions instead of dwelling on that, because you might end up losing the time, because there is only 60 seconds. Before we actually start your quiz, I want to just take a look at the previous leaderboard and just tell you how it's been in the past. So at the top of our leaderboard, we have Mr. Grant Cook, who's our reigning champion from the channel Film Learning, also a VFX channel. He's got 8 points. So it's going to be a bit tough. Then we have, we only have 3. So in second place, we have Josh Davies, CEO of Hit Film. He managed to score 3 points. And then at the bottom of the leaderboard, which is no shame, Javert, if you're watching, there's no shame to be at the bottom of the leaderboard. I'd be below you if I was on that. I'd be below you. And he's got 2 points. So
he's not going to be at the bottom for much longer. So good news.
I think you underestimate yourself. So I think you're underestimating yourself.
We'll see.
So
let's find out.
You need to in order to be not lost, if we're going to say that, you have to get more than 2 points. So is there anything you want to do? Maybe do some stretches or something before we start.
Get ready for this. All right. Okay, sweet.
Okay,
think we're
Aidin
good.
Robbins, are you ready to undertake the alerted quiz?
I'm as ready as I'm going to be. Sure.
Okay, so I will start the timer in 3, 2,
All right.
1, go. What are they trying to steal in the movie Ronin?
I pass.
What is the name of the Bond girl in Casino Royale?
I don't know that. Pass.
Who composed the music for The Lion King?
The Lion King. Bruh, pass.
Okay, who plays Aunt May in the Amazing Spider-Man reboot films?
Who? Who? Amazing Spider-Man reboot? What is that? Like, I'm not gonna know either way. Pass.
The line "Tonight We Dine in Hell" is from which film? Tonight We Dine in Hell.
Pass. I don't know anything.
True or false? Edgar Wright was supposed to direct Ant-Man. True or false?
True.
Correct. What is Adonis Creed's nickname in Creed?
Creed. I don't know.
Who directed Kingsman: The Secret Service? And that is the
Should know
clock.
that. Pass. That's
Okay,
time.
that is time.
I got
So,
one.
Aidin Robbins.
I told you.
I was going to
I
do
warned you.
I was going to do a drum roll to cue up
No.
the score, but it seems you already know. You got 1
Yeah.
point, which is again much more than I would have gotten. Take solace in that. I would have gotten probably -5 points. So yeah,
Minus
1 point.
negative
if you're,
points.
If you're interested in some of the questions answers here, I can give you a couple.
All right.
Who composed the music for The Lion King is actually Hans Zimmer. Funny enough, Hans Zimmer.
Man.
They're actually trying to steal a briefcase in the movie Ronin. And the line "Tonight We Dine in Hell" is from 300. Zack Snyder, 300.
Okay.
That film. Yeah. So
I gotcha.
that's a pretty good score, I would say. It is sure you are at the bottom
It's
of
a
the
pretty good
leaderboard.
score.
You are at the bottom of the leaderboard,
Yeah.
but remember
But it's,
there are. It's a.
I'm
I
proud
think.
of myself.
Yes, I think you should give yourself a pat on the
That's
back.
all that matters.
Double pats on the back. It's a respectable score. You are now
Can't do
on
it.
the leaderboard. We have 4 people, and who knows what'll happen next on this crazy,
knows?
crazy quiz. Something I like
Someone
to
will
do.
get one half.
You know, maybe they could say
And
like
then there'll be below me.
the half of someone's name and just not get through the rest, and then
That's true.
it could happen.
Okay, if you get 0, are you at the bottom of the leaderboard, or are you not? Or are you like not included?
I think I would still.
Am I going to be the worst forever? Is what I'm asking.
I think I would still put them
Is
on the
it-
leaderboard. I think I would still include
Okay.
a 0.
So it is possible for someone to do worse than me.
It is definitely possible. If anyone wants
It
to do
can be
worse
done.
than Aidin, let me know,
Sweet.
and we can hook you up with a 0 on the on the leaderboard.
Sweet.
Yeah. Well, thank you for participating in that quiz. Something I like to do just to
All right.
break the ice. If you want to ask me a question, any question at all, so I can get it wrong,
Ooh.
you can do that. Any trivia question. Just before we wrap this all up.
Any question.
Any question.
Okay. We talked about the two different kind of categories of like film tutorial channels right now.
Okay.
Of like the not film right, but like the Peter McKinnon side, who's your favorite?
My
If
favorite.
you know any of them. Yeah.
I don't watch most of the. I watch. Does Casey Neistat count? Because he's not
Sure.
really. He's more not. He's more just run and gun filmmaking, less cinematic style.
Sure.
I would say Casey
It's
Neistat.
good though.
I would say
Alright.
Casey Neistat. Yeah, I think I enjoy his
Respectable.
videos quite a bit. And there's a South African on there. If you see it, there's a South African guy on his show now, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
Represent. Yeah. But yeah, thank you, dude, for being on this podcast. Really good sport of you. I've really enjoyed talking to you about all these things. Yeah.
All right.
Is there anything you want to maybe
Thank you for
plug?
having me.
Is there anything you want to plug? Maybe I'm gonna put your channel obviously on the end card. And if you
Can
want
I
to
just
check,
like plug myself.
yeah, definitely plug yourself. Instagram,
All
anything
right.
you want. I'll leave it in the description.
Ooh.
Yeah, your book also.
Well, for anyone, oh yeah, my book for sure.
Yeah,
write my
definitely
book.
the book.
Not write my book, read my book. But for anyone who's not familiar with my channel and has somehow gotten all the way through this podcast without knowing anything,
Yeah.
has been interested enough, I make tutorials and like cinematic vlogs. So if you're into that, you should check it out.
Definitely check Aidin's channel out on the end screen of this video. And if you guys want to follow us on Twitter, I'll have our Twitter handles on the screen right now. You can tweet Aidin, tweet him the word monkey. Just do that and see what happens.
Okay.
And buy his book, definitely, because
Buy my book.
It's a good read. I've read it myself. Not really, but it's a good read.
Nice.
Yeah. So one final time, thank you, dude, for being on this podcast. I hope everyone has. I hope you've enjoyed it yourself, and I hope everyone else has enjoyed watching. Anything else you want to say?
Subscribe to Red Alert.
Subscribe to Red Alert. Subscribe to
You have
Aidin
to.
Robbins first. Subscribe
Do
to Aidin
it.
Robbins first, then come back. Subscribe to Red Alert. Anyway, guys, hope you guys have
I'll take
enjoyed
it.
this video. Definitely leave a like down below. It really helps, It really helps, those likes. They definitely help.
It
but
does.
first, share the
Profit.
video. And subscribe for more amazing content. Maybe, sort of. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next episode.